In just 6 days, ordinary people turned cruel. This experiment was supposed to last 2 weeks. It was conducted by respected scientists, and it involved normal college students. What happened next revealed something deeply disturbing about human nature. This experiment should have never happened. In 1971, a psychology professor named Philip Zimbardo set out to study one simple question: how does power affect human behavior? To find the answer, he recruited 24 healthy male college students. They were carefully screened. No criminal records, no psychological disorders. Just normal young men. They were randomly assigned roles. Half became prisoners, half became guards. The setting was a mock prison built in the basement of Stanford University. It seemed harmless, controlled, scientific. But it wasn't. On the first day, the prisoners were arrested at their homes by real police officers. They were handcuffed, searched, and brought to the fake prison. From that moment, the roles stopped feeling fake. Prisoners were stripped of their names and given numbers. Guards were given uniforms, batons, and complete authority. No physical violence was allowed, but psychological pressure was. At first, everything seemed calm. Then, it escalated. By the second day, guards began inventing punishments: push-ups, sleep deprivation, public humiliation. Prisoners were forced to repeat their numbers instead of their names. Some guards became cruel. Others stayed silent. Very few questioned what was happening. The prisoners began to break down. One had an emotional collapse and had to be released early. Another developed psychosomatic rashes. This wasn't acting anymore. They were living it. What makes this experiment truly disturbing is not what the guards did. It's how quickly it felt normal. Zimbardo himself stopped seeing the participants as students. He began seeing them as prisoners. As a scientist, he should have stopped the experiment. Instead, he became part of it. The environment changed everyone, not because they were evil, but because the system allowed it. The study was planned to last 14 days. It ended after just 6. Not because of the prisoners, not because of the guards, but because an outside observer finally spoke up. She asked a simple question: how can you watch this and do nothing? Only then did it stop. The Stanford prison experiment became one of the most famous studies in history, but it was later heavily criticized. It's for ethical violations, for lack of proper controls, for encouraging abusive behavior. Today, it would never be approved. And that's exactly the point. The most frightening part wasn't the guards or the prisoners. It was how easily normal people adapted to cruelty when given power or when trapped inside a system. That's why this experiment should have never happened.